JBN, we keep you informed. Funeral home worker shot dead in downtown Kingston. A man was shot dead by unknown assailants in downtown Kingston on Wednesday morning. The deceased has been identified as 21-year-old Orlando Maxwell, a funeral home worker of a Central Village, St. Catherine address. Reports are that about 10 a.m. Maxwell was standing along Upper King Street when occupants of a red motorcar opened fire, hitting him multiple times. He was pronounced dead at hospital. Police have not ascertained the motive for the killing. Suspects being sought in connection with Westmoreland murder. Sleuths assigned to the Salvamar Criminal Investigations Branch are seeking the public's assistance in locating two suspects in the murder of 22-year-old Owen Gardner, committed in the parish on Saturday, March 7. The suspects are Wayne Bowen, otherwise called Junior, and Glamour G, whose last known address is Barclay Street, Westmoreland, and a man known only as Allah of Darling Street, also in Westmoreland. It is reported that about 1:30 p.m. Gardner was at home when he was approached by Bowen and Allah. A dispute reportedly ensued between them and a gun was brought into play. Gardner was shot in the upper body and was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police are appealing to Bowen and Allah to turn themselves in to the Savlamar CIB. Anyone with information that can assist in the investigation is being asked to contact the Savlamar Police at 876-955-2758, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. 4 alleged robbers arrested in St. Elizabeth. 3 Kingston residents are among 4 men facing robbery charges in St. Elizabeth. The police today reported that the 3 Kingston men are accused of entering a man's house on Monday and stealing a sum of money along with other items. They were arrested later that day and is subsequently charged with robbery with aggravation, illegal possession of a firearm, and receiving stolen property following a question and answer session. The accused are Roberto Malcolm, otherwise called Silver, 21-year-old of Sangster Crescent, Kingston; Dondre Blake, otherwise called Danjay, 24-year-old, a farmer of Band Street, Kingston; and O'Shane Morrison, otherwise called Shane, of Wellington Street, Kingston. Meanwhile, the 4th alleged robber was arrested on Saturday, March 28, following reports that he robbed a man of several items 2 days earlier. The police said the accused was armed with a machete. He has been identified as 21-year-old Kishane Stevens, a farmer of Woodlands District in Newmarket, St. Elizabeth. Stevens was positively identified during an identification parade following an interview and is subsequently charged, the police said. The 4 men are to face court at a later date. Miami hotel workers long for home. Some seasonal Jamaican hotel workers in Miami, Florida, who missed the March 24 deadline to return to Jamaica before the borders closed, are pleading for the government to help them return home. The workers said that they are at risk of eviction because their contracts have been terminated and they are running low on cash. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that ports would close to incoming passengers on March 21 at 11:59 p.m., but allowed exemptions to some categories of Jamaicans until March 24. The lockdown was effected to curb the threat of the novel coronavirus, which has killed 3 persons and infected 44 others on the island. Connie Laws, a housekeeping attendant, said that she and her co-workers were cajoled last Saturday into leaving for the airport, despite protesting that passenger flights had been barred by the Jamaican authorities. The Saturday morning at 2:30, she came and knocked on the door and said, "We have to leave now." So we tell her that no flight is leaving, and she started shouting and said if we don't want to leave willingly, she would call the police to get us out, Laws said. We cooperated, even though we knew that no flight wasn't leaving. And when we reached the airport, they told her that no flight was not leaving, and she was determined to get us out. And she was begging and pleading for them to book us on the flight to Atlanta, and they told her no, Laws said. The HR manager reportedly took them back to their apartment and urged them to call the Jamaican consulate for an avenue home. Although the workers have been given the opportunity to stay in the apartment temporarily, some are complaining that they had to throw away food and other belongings before they got to the airport, forcing them to repurchase their depleted stock. I only get US $92 because them draw the rent from me pay. We don't have no money for buy anything. We have to just pull and buy what can serve us for now, said Shani Scott, another housekeeping attendant. The Jamaican government recently stepped in to assist more than 100 Jamaican workers who turned up at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport between March 24 and the 25 to catch flights home because of cancellations. 28-year-old Shanna Geddes, another Jamaican who is stranded at the Miami apartment, said that she hopes to return home to her 18-month-old toddler. Third COVID-19 death as 6 more people test positive. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has confirmed the third death as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak in the country. The ministry said the 41-year-old Jamaican man with UK travel history is the latest case of someone who contracted the coronavirus dying. He suffered from some underlying conditions and had renal failure. He died today at the University Hospital of the West Indies. His death came on the heels of another patient at the same hospital who was found unresponsive and was noted to have had cardiac arrest yesterday. Resuscitation measures were unsuccessful, the ministry said. Meanwhile, 6 more people have been tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. This brings the total number of confirmed cases in the island to 44. All 6 positives are linked to the quarantined area of Cornpeace, where the first deceased patient was located. Dr. Tufton is also reporting that medical officials are monitoring 69 households in Portland Cottage, Clarendon, and may take further action there. 279 persons have been interviewed, 7 persons have been placed into isolation. Hefty fines or imprisonment for failing to self-quarantine or self-identify. Persons who arrived in Jamaica between March 18 and 23 and have failed to self-identify or self-quarantine could face fines of up to $1 million or 12 months imprisonment under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave the warning at a virtual press conference at Jamaica House on Monday. Holness said that persons who come into the island and have not self-quarantined pose one of the biggest threats at this time. We have now made an order to ask all persons who have come into the island between the 18th and the 23rd of March that they must report using the website jamcovid19.moj.gov.jm or call 888-1-LOVE and fill out or give the information required. The order as well makes it mandatory that they quarantine themselves for 14 days starting from the date of their arrival, he noted. He said the government also has the option of publishing the names of such persons. We have been very reluctant in publishing the list. We have been very cautious because we don't want to stigmatize people. We don't want to in any way trespass on the privacy of people. But we must also recognize that this is a public health crisis and the law does empower us to take action. But we can't, of course, abuse it. So we are taking every measure that would be considered reasonable in a free and democratic society, he said. Holness noted that Jamaicans' infection curve has remained relatively flat, while the infection curve in all the other Caribbean countries is rising, and exponentially so in some cases. He pointed out, however, that the number of cases now at 44 could drastically increase if persons arrive in the island with the virus and are walking about freely. We have had coming into the island close to 7,000 visitors and Jamaican citizens, of which approximately 1,500 left the island. So we're still having a considerable number of persons who would have come into the island, who we cannot say with certainty that they were faithful to the quarantine rules, and therefore they are generally abroad in the society. They are within the country moving about, and the challenge is that this could be the precursor to community spread, Mr. Holness said. In addition to 888-1-LOVE, persons can also contact the Ministry of Health and Wellness with COVID-19 concerns by calling 888-754-7792, 876-542-5998, 876-542-6007, 876-542-6006, and 876-542-5998. JBN. We keep you informed. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.